Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There is a ladder kind of a thing where you start our journey from the level of prema, the love, and then as we go up, and it is something which can lead us into the bhakti. That's what we have seen. The love becomes the supreme love. And when it goes down, then this prema becomes kama. Prema is at the mind level, kama comes to the body level, whereas bhakti goes to the consciousness level or the soul level. So, human being is essentially a spectrum of body, gross level body, in between that we have mind, and then at the top level we have consciousness. When you look at from the Vedanta point of view, there are two different worldviews that are there. One worldview is that matter is the base of the creation. That's what basically the way science looks at it. Everything is made out of matter. Actually, if you go to the Griffiths Observatory, you can see there. This is Earth is basically it was like a mass of energy, and then it cooled down, and then in 600 billion years, then when it cooled down, then the life came onto the Earth. As if when the matter condenses, then it gives rise to life. Actually, he did not mean that. He said life appeared. But then somehow the scientists interpreted that life comes out of it. Not only life, consciousness and connected with that, prana, everything comes out of matter. Including the mind, including the brain, all those things come out of consciousness, come out of matter, is the way that the world view. Whereas the Indian philosophy always had the view that the base is the consciousness and the matter is the outcome of that particular thing. What is the reason for that? In fact, the way that I am convinced about the appeal, it appeals to me, is the consciousness is something which has the freedom, whereas the matter does not have the freedom. The karya-karana sambandha, that is, the cause and effect connection is there at the matter level, whereas the consciousness has the freedom. In fact, that's how basically when somebody is conscious, he has a freedom to move. When the person doesn't have the consciousness, there is no freedom. This is one thing. And second thing is, the consciousness has the feeling. Matter does not have the feeling. Like for example, if it is cold or hot, I can feel it. It's really cold, it's hot. Whereas table doesn't feel it because table doesn't have the consciousness. Not only that, when I don't have consciousness, I don't feel it. Like, pain. The real experience of that is when you have toothache. The moment that you have toothache, you feel the pain. It's really excruciating pain. And then you go to the dentist, and that fellow puts you in a beautiful, very expensive kind of a chair. But however expensive the chair may be, that you still feel the pain. And the moment he takes out some instrument, something like that, it pains much more. He says, no, that's why he's also very smart. He takes out only some swab, something like that. He puts it, applies on the cheek. I said, do you feel anything? No, it's cool, nice. Yeah, actually it is anesthesia. It's working inside. Slowly it goes inside. Then when once the consciousness is taken away, you don't feel the pain. But then at the same time, you don't have the freedom also. When the leg does not have the consciousness, I can't ask the leg to move the leg because you cannot move it. When the consciousness is there, when you are doing something at the teeth, you are immediately, tongue goes there to prevent it. Whereas when the local anesthesia is given, consciousness is taken away, the tongue doesn't go and function there because basically the movement is also lost. So Consciousness has essentially these two qualities. One is the freedom and the other is the feeling. All the feelings belong to consciousness, like hot or cold, good or bad. All these things belong to the consciousness. We are conscious, that's why we feel all those things. And much deeper than all these physical feelings like hot and cold, etc., is the feeling called love, compassion. These are all the things that are there because that we are conscious. And that's what is the supreme aspect within us. And that belongs to the consciousness itself. That's what is the idea. Even the pain and pleasure. There is one more thing that is there, which normally people do not realize, is that the consciousness not only has the feeling and the freedom, but also there is responsibility. That means to say, I am conscious. I have to take the responsibility of something which does not have the consciousness or which is less conscious. That's why it is a bounden responsibility of a human being to take care of every other thing because we are the highest degree of consciousness that we have. Two workers working under a jhat contractor on the 5th floor of a building construction work, and then from the 5th floor, two of them, they slipped and fell down on the ground, and then one broke his legs and arms and all that, and another died. And the fellow who broke his legs, he was crying out of pain, and the jhat contractor comes to him and shouts at him saying that, look at that other fellow, he lost his life, he's keeping quiet. Whereas you broke a couple of bones and you are crying, it's a big deal, you know. You have consciousness, that's why you feel the pain. If you don't have consciousness, there is no feeling of pain. Look at that. When somebody is dying also, before death, that means consciousness is there, you can see the struggling for the life. But the moment somebody dies, peaceful, quiet, as if everything has become quieted. So, where the consciousness is there the feeling of pain, pleasure, suffering, all those things that are there. Now, when you look at this matter, and the freedom is there, where the freedom is there, and that can give up its freedom to become something of less freedom. Freedom itself is like the way that you have money in your bank. You are rich, you can do anything with money. You can take care of your hunger, you can take care of your shelter, you can take care of your clothing, all those things you can do with the money. But then money itself you cannot eat to take out your hunger. Money itself you cannot live in. Money has to give up its freedom so that it becomes food. But once it has food, then you cannot cover yourself with that. You see, as money that you can convert it into something like a cloth, and then cloth you can cover with. That means to say, freedom itself is not good enough. Freedom itself is not the ultimate. Freedom has to give up its freedom to have something of the lesser freedom so that it becomes functional. So freedom is converted into functional aspect of it. So that's how the divinity has the freedom. In fact, the idea of freedom itself means that it can give up its freedom. That's what is the freedom. So that's why Indian philosophy said that Brahman is all freedom, all right, but Brahman itself has to become the creation. It has to give up its freedom to become you and me. But the moment it has become you, it cannot be me. If I become me, it cannot be you. So that's how we're all from the same Brahman, but we became what we are because the Brahman gives up its freedom out of free will. So the creation is not a negative. Creation is something which is functional. That's all. What a beautiful idea. Whereas the other religions have said creation is like a fall. Somebody has done a mistake and then so the same fall has taken place. But actually it is not the Adam or Eve who has done the mistake. The God who has done the mistake said that don't eat this. And then the whole thing. Otherwise they were comfortable, wonderful. So essentially the creation is not a fall. The creation is a choice. When you look at that, it's an expression of freedom. That's what is the creation. Now within you also, that you could see, you could hear, you could do all those things, that freedom is there as a consciousness. But within you, that consciousness has to give up its freedom to become eyes. Now eyes can only see. Eyes cannot hear. However close it may be, however much that it is nearer to the ear, but it cannot hear. The same way that ears cannot see. You see, it has lost its freedom to do anything and everything. It gave up its freedom. Even the eyes also give up its freedom to hear everything that is there, just to limit itself to a small little degree, and that's what we can hear. See, that means to say giving up freedom is based basically to become the functional aspect of it. So the whole creation is, that's why, born out of that freedom. This is how Indian philosophy says consciousness is the base of the freedom, base of the creation. Now, in case of matter, consciousness has become completely the matter. It has only existence. Whereas the moment that you come to the plants or animals, consciousness has not only matter, but consciousness also is not only existence, it's conscious of existence. That's why there is a self-effort involved in existing. A plant is there, sends its roots into the soil to pick up the water, whatever it is, so that it has a self-motivation, self-effort to see that it exists. So where this self-effort is there to exist, that is what we call it as prana. That's what we call it as life. Life means there is a self-existence, proper self-effort in existing. That's what we call it as plant. That's what is called as prana, the life. And then when it comes to the human being, not only that he exists himself, that means it's not tutored from outside, it comes from within. In fact, there was a YouTube, these days YouTube gives all kinds of information. And there is a YouTube where the child is taken out of mother's womb, and then they just cleaned it and put it on the mother's tummy. And then in just about 6 minutes, the child crawled on the mother's tummy and reaches the breast milk. And who told the child that food is available there? It's like the way that in the sea turtles, when they hatch the egg and then they come out, they rush towards water. Who told that the water is there? They know it instinctively. So human being is also instinctively, he has existence and is also conscious of existence. But this conscious of existence is the one which motivates us to do the activity. In fact, Sankhya now brings about various components within that particular conscious of existence. But another very important aspect human being has over and above the animals and the plants and all those things is, he is not only conscious of existence, but there is one thing called as a conscious of existence. That means the animal is hungry, food is there, the animal just goes for food, doesn't even think whether I should eat or not, whether it is right for me to eat or not, nothing like that. Just goes. Like you go to the Chamundeshwari temple, you can see that monkeys are sitting waiting for you outside. The moment you come out of the temple, you have a banana prasadam. The monkeys do not mind whether it is prasadam or not prasadam. Just jump on you and eat that. That's all. That's why at that animal level, there is nothing like good, there is nothing like sin or virtue. It's all one and the same thing. Whereas human being is not like that. I eat, but behind me, I am watching also that should I eat or not? Can I offer to the others and eat? All these things are come. And this observer, it's a pure consciousness. He doesn't do anything. He is just pure consciousness. And we are that. In fact, as a child is always identified with that conscious of consciousness. And like, for example, if you are doing something wrong, your conscious of consciousness is somebody behind who always says that, look, this you should not be doing it. You tell a lie, just consciousness within you. You can convince the whole world that you are telling truth. But then you cannot convince that conscious of consciousness that you are telling a lie. When Patanjali says that Satyam, our Upanishad says Satyam Vada, it's basically identify yourself with that conscious of consciousness, and that's what is the truth. That's what is the real truth. And then we are that to start with. Every child is that. And that's why the child's truth is not calculated or engineered or identified kind of a truth. Whereas when we say the truth, it becomes like, should I tell a lie or truth, or I should not tell a lie. So I calculate. My truth has a shadow of untruth behind it, whereas child's truth doesn't have the shadow of untruth. I always give that example, that when my son was small, and a Sunday afternoon, I'm not in mood to lazy, I'm not in a mood to see anybody, I have nice wonderful food, I'm resting, then somebody comes and knocks at the door, my son comes and, Papa, uncle has come to see you. And when I'm not in mood to see anybody, I say that, look, tell Papa is not home. He directly goes there and says, Papa says he is not home. You see, he doesn't know to tell a lie. It's truth. Very clear. I mean, of course, that's a message I wanted to convey him also. But this is how essentially the conscious of consciousness is something which has the pure feeling. Love, compassion, these are the pure feelings. That's why I said yesterday that the child is born with these things. Now what happens over a period of time is that these are all the soft emotions. Soft emotions because they make your whole personality soft, gentle, pleasant, wonderful. But then we also have violent emotions like anger, hatred, jealousy. All these are not the emotions which are spontaneous. No, they are born out of ego. This is something which is very important to understand, that soft emotions, they are not born out of ego. They are born from consciousness. And these things are born out of ego. Like for example, I'm angry because you did not do the way that I wanted you to do. So essentially, that I want you to do is important. I told you, you did not follow it. That I told is very important. This I becomes very important. And because of this I, your anger, hatred, jealousy, all these things are born out of ego. So we naturally we have soft emotions, but then the moment that these soft emotions are interfered or they superimposed by the ego, then they become violent emotions. This is essentially where the sadhana is required. This is where enriching the ennobling of the love that becomes important. Love itself is wonderful, but we need to enrich or ennoble this love, because if we don't do that, then immediately ego mounts on that, it brings it down. Otherwise, our love itself is pure. If it is pure, then it is wonderful. Our compassion is pure. Like for example, appreciation. There is also a sense of wonder, which is a very natural, spontaneous feeling of emotion that we have. I look at something, wow, how beautiful it is. At once that sense of appreciation comes, and at that point of time, if you just watch yourself, when the sense of appreciation is there, you have become silent, you have become peaceful and all those things. But then the next moment ego comes up and then spoils and then says, how I wish I have it. Now struggle starts. The trouble starts. Why he has it, I don't have it, then the problem starts. Then it turns itself into jealousy, it turns into demand, so all kinds of things happen. Expectations come. So this is how degeneration takes place. All our emotions become degenerated because of the ego. Because emotions are very easily vulnerable for ego. This is a very strange idea about it. In the very first place, that these emotions will give us joy because they dissolve ego. Your ego is dissolved the moment that you are in the state of emotion. That's what Narada says, basically. When you are in the state of emotions, yat prapya nakinchit vanchati. That's what yesterday we have seen. There are the three different things that are there. Yalabdha puman siddho bhavati yat prapya nakinchit vanchati. Says, when you get it, you don't want anything. Genuinely. You really don't want anything. Anything is given is okay. The moment that you are in the state of love. And that same thing extends all the way up to the bhakti. It starts at love as our experience and it goes all the way to the bhakti, because the same quality is something which can go up to that level. Let me give a couple of examples to show that how in an ordinary simple case also that we see that it is the same thing that applies. Even in the bhakti it is the same thing that applies. Like anything is okay when you are in the state of love. Normally what happens, it's so easy, it's very difficult to give up what I want, what I don't want. I have very strong specifications. Like I go to the restaurant, I have very strong specifications. I ask for the menu card, and these days it is not menu card, it is menu book. Because so many items are there. And not just only few items, it's like telephone directory. So many items are there, thousands. Now you go through all those things, and then the waiter will be waiting because he wants to take an order. And then you call him. Oh, now he is happy to write. No, wait a minute. Item number 504. Is it vegetarian, non-vegetarian? First question. Yeah, it's vegetarian. Or we can make it vegetarian somehow. Then say, can you reduce this jalapeno in this, and can you add this into that, and this into... He is prepared to do everything for you because he wants to get an order. And ultimately there, he writes only 504. That's all the item. See, but these are all the technical, trade details. Anyway, you have so much specifications. How strong the specifications are, you're very particular about it with all those things. And particularly these days, we have so many choices. They're also like that. A mommy comes from Tamil Nadu to New York first time to come to her. And then mommy and mama and all that, they go to somebody's house and then they said, what can I get you for drink? Water. No, give you water anyway, but then something else, hot or cold and all that. Okay, all right, hot. Hot what? Coffee, chai, this, that, so many. It's all right, coffee, because Tamil Nadu mommy likes coffee. So now say, what kind of coffee you have? Decaf, regular coffee, filter coffee, or anything is... Oh, no, we have everything. That's another dialogue. Everything. Okay, filter coffee. So would you like to take with milk, or sugar, and Splenda, and all kinds of things, no sugar. Sugar, okay. Milk, like half and half, milk, and 2% fat-free milk. And then, would you like to take it with cream? Mommy knows only one cream. That's Pond's face cream, Now she is into trouble because you're going to put the face cream into that. No, don't scream. This is regular. So it's milk. Okay. So this is so much specification that we have. When you go to the restaurant, there are so many specifications. Whereas the same thing that you go with somebody who you love to the restaurant, and that person says, sweetheart, what can I order for you? Anything is okay. Look at this. Anything is okay? How can it be okay? What about all your specifications? The moment that when you are in the state of love, naking chit vanchati, you don't want it. Anything is okay. It comes from the heart. You don't have to make up. That means what happens? The ego, in the form of that I want this, I don't want this, drops off. The ego drops off. Anything is okay. Whether it is the banana peel or banana, anything is okay. It's not for us, for Krishna. You see, that's what. The bhakti can go from prema level all the way to the bhakti. The same thing applies. Like Krishna, he has gone for negotiations to Hastinapur, and then what happened basically, that nothing, the whole negotiations failed. Not only it failed, Duryodhana tried to kill Krishna, and the Krishna somehow saved himself. And then after that Duryodhana says, why don't you take rest in our guest house? I said, in Sabha itself I have seen the treatment that you have given me. Now you want me to stay in the guest house and then take a risk of my life? No, I'll go to my friend's place. And then he went to Vidura's place, his old friend. By that time Vidura is a servant son basically, and then he doesn't have any position, so naturally he's a unwanted fellow, is that kind of servant son. Nobody is coming to his house, he never expect anybody coming there. And then suddenly in the evening there is a knock on the door, and then he sees, open the door, who is there at this time to knock the door? Then he opened. To his surprise, pleasant, he saw Krishna standing there. Oh my God, Krishna, you are here? Krishna is a kingmaker. And then there are so many kings and princes and all those people, they are there. His own relatives, they're all there. But then instead of going to all of them, he came to Vidura's place. My God, you are here? Yeah, I'm here, I'm hungry. Is it real that you are here? Yeah, I'm hungry. See, he's in such a great love, lost in love, that he forgot what he cannot even hear what Krishna is saying. Meanwhile, when this conversation is going on, Vidura's wife, she hears something is, husband is talking, because for several days that she did not hear him talking at all, becomes so totally silent. Such a sad state. War is coming. And then now he is talking to somebody, she comes there, sees Krishna standing there and saying that, I'm hungry. And he says, what is this? You are talking to Krishna. Hello Krishna, how wonderful that you have come here. And then she tells to her husband, come on, take him inside. And then he says he is hungry. At least give him some banana, so that meanwhile let me fix the dinner for him. And then she goes inside, and Vidura, in that ecstasy, is taking out this banana peel, throw the banana and gives the peel to Krishna, and Krishna happily eating. Banana is okay, peel is also okay when you are in the state of love. See, this is pure love. It dissolves the ego completely. And even in us also, that the experience of love itself is nothing but the big burden called ego drops off. And so difficult. And this is what later on Narada also gives one more sutra. This bhakti is greater than Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Api adhikataraha. It's better than that, because all those other yogas, that the I, that means to say ego, I do it. Raja Yoga, I have to sit down, meditate, I have to do the pranayama, I have to control myself, I have to control the breath. See, this I as a controller, that is the skill. And similarly in Jnana Yoga, my understanding is wrong. I have ajnana and I remove that with the help of jnana. Thus I is the one which does it. Similarly Karma Yoga, I am doing it. I have to do it. Whereas Bhakti, I itself is dissolved. The ego itself gets dissolved. The moment when you are in the state of love, the starting itself is something which is supposed to be the ultimate there. What is supposed to be the end point in all the other parts of yoga, that's the beginning of Bhakti Yoga. That's why Jnana Yoga api adhikataraha. Karma Jnana Yogyo api adhikataraha. That's what Narada says. It is better than Karma, Jnana and Yoga. Beyond that is Bhakti. Because in Bhakti that dissolution takes place, and that's what is the experience that you see in ordinary simple experience of love. And it is not that we calculate, we want to do that. It spontaneously happens. The ego dissolves, ego drops. But then what happens to us? Ego comes up again. Ego comes up. The moment ego comes up, then it again disturbs us and all that. The moment ego comes up, it corrupts the whole thing. The moment it corrupts, the love becomes lust. And compassion becomes complaint. And same way, appreciation becomes possession. Great people are great. They did not bring in this ego. Their appreciation remained as appreciation. It never became the possession. Their love remained as love. They did not convert it into lust. This is the greatness. Why? Like for example, in love, one important thing that happens in the case of appreciation, like Vivekananda, he happened to go to Mysore Maharaja, and then Mysore Maharaja was so impressed by Vivekananda. He said, you please go to the market, and then whatever you would like to have it, at the state's expense, you can have it. So it was a clean check given to Vivekananda. And then he went to Mysore market. Those days in South Asia, Mysore market was supposed to be one of the best markets. People would come from all over to go for the market. And then Swamiji went, and then Diwan was there with him. Swamiji went round, and he would look at everything, appreciate, wow, how wonderful it is, how nice it is. Kinds of inlay work and all that. wonderful carvings from the ivory, this and that, so many things. He would say, beautiful, right? The Diwan would say that, shall I write a check for it? No, wait a minute. He went through the whole thing for about an hour, couple of hours. At the end of it, they said, wow, I'm really satisfied. Diwan said, Swamiji, you are satisfied, all right, but I'm not satisfied because I've not even written one check. You did not buy anything. Then Swamiji, like children, say that, so shall we go one more round? But he could never possess anything. Finally, because that you must have something, then he said, there was a ivory pipe, and then that Swamiji bought it. And that fellow was prepared to present it to Swamiji. It was like that. He could never convert his appreciation into possession. That was the greatness. Because ego does not come there. When ego comes, then only it becomes possession. Whereas we go for shopping, and then we just go there to get milk. And then we go to the shop, and then while coming back, we are looking for a counter which is 10 and above items, 15 and above items. I mean, why? Because anything that you see, you start possessing. Many houses, it comes to only garage, and it doesn't even enter into the house. Because already you lost interest on that. Possession. This is how it happens. I mean, why should we possess? We think of it. But then that became like this. Vivekananda could never possess. But then, later on, that pipe, he used to show to people that saying that this is presented by Mysore Maharaja, Mysore King, very happily, because it was looking very beautiful, very nice. And then his own disciple is Alasinga Peruman, his name was, he was called, Kiddy. And this Kiddy one day, when Swamiji was saying like that, Swamiji, this is so beautiful. I think I should have something in your memory, I should have it. Swamiji at first gave it away to him. Even till today it is there in Mysore, in Chennai Ramakrishna Mission. It is there. And then he gave it away. That means he could not even possess that one small little item. Possession could not become. But then why it happens like that in case of such great people? But why? Before even we appreciate, it becomes possession. That's the reason why we become so defensive. We should not appreciate, so that it will become possession. The problem is not with appreciation, the problem with the possession. And this is where basically, why it happens? Because ego comes up. The whole practice of yoga is Bhakti yoga, is essentially to dissolve this ego. It is to surrender this ego. It's nothing to do with Bhakti. Bhakti anyway we have. Love we have. Only thing is that dissolving that ego is the whole practice that we need to do it. In our case, ego comes up. Why does it come up? Because we have trained. All life we have trained so much. I am so great, I am so important, I must be the... like from the child level, we try to create that ego. We nurture that ego. We support that ego so much. Ego is important. It becomes so important. In fact, look at the English language. Every other letter we write in the lower case. When I comes, we write in uppercase. Give me one reason why we have to write it in uppercase. How can I be in a lower case? It has to be always in uppercase. Even you don't have to worry about it. Microsoft will make it. This is how ego is taken care of. Ego is protected. Ego becomes... I have to be somebody or the other. I have to be original. Somebody or the other. This is what your identification. That's why I said, why people, the moment that they are retired, they suffer from heart attack? Because the identification crisis. You don't want to be identified as somebody else, you have to be original identification. One day it so happened that I go for a walk in the morning in Bangalore, early morning. We used to have a dog. I took the dog, go for a walk for almost 3-4 miles and then come back very early in the morning. And my wife was there in Prashanti. And then she called me from there on my phone. Look, today is a festival and I am in Prashanti. And then there is an old fellow who walks in our street, brings flowers. Said, you buy some flowers from him so that, festival day, you buy flowers, he will feel happy. 20 rupees flowers that you buy. And by the time I was so far away, actually 2-3 miles away, I said, and morning I go for a walk, I didn't carry any money with me. So then I said, before that fellow crosses our house, I should meet him. So I was almost coming running. And then I found that this fellow has already crossed our house, crossed next road, and then he was beyond our. I met him there. And then I said, Tata, I want to buy some flowers, some 20 rupees flowers. But then I don't have money. So do one thing, that you wait here. You give me that flower so that tomorrow I'll give you money. I said, where is your house? Where are you? Who are you? I said, I'm Raghuram. You see my house? That's a house. I don't remember to have seen you any time. That's a house. There. No, I don't remember. So can you wait? I can go. No, I'll have to go. I don't have money. I want to buy. Said, that Nagaratna, I'm her husband. I know Ratna, Dr. Amma, I know her very well, but I've never seen you. I'm Amrut's father. Amrut I know, but I've never seen you. Identity crisis. Now, after some 2-3 minutes, then he put his hand on my shoulder. Yeah. Definitely you take it. Because I remember this dog. My identity is a dog. You want identity. This is not. Ego comes into the picture. We want to bring in ego. This is how unconsciously ego comes up. We have never consciously dissolved this ego, surrendered this ego. So the whole practice of bhakti is surrendering this ego. That's what Narada gives in the next few sutras. Talakshanani vachante nana mata bhedat. He brings about the qualities. How do you surrender? In fact, what happens is, if I want to surrender to any human being, I don't surrender so easily, because the other fellow is also another ego. And I surrender. Don't I know to surrender? Yes, we know to surrender. But only if I am going to get some benefit, I surrender. Otherwise, I don't surrender. See, a surrender is so that I can get something. Like I go to the government office and touch his feet and all those things I do, so that my paper is signed. That's a simple thing. So, yes, also getting something that I know to surrender. But then, surrendering we know, but then in the normal course of time, just surrendering itself doesn't make any sense to us. So the only way that he says is, the way that you surrender is, surrender to the highest, the force, that consciousness which is responsible for the whole creation. That's how the feeling of God comes into existence. The bhakti, prema, now slowly becomes bhakti, because essentially it is still a prema, but only thing is you surrender to the God. That's what basically bhakti is. But it is the feeling that they're within you. The God is within. It's not for the outside. It's within you. Outside is all basically to see that, just to translate, like the way that you want to see that how your face looks like, and then you look into the mirror. But then mirror is not important. Your face is important. Similarly, the God outside is there to see that, do I surrender? That's what is within me. It's not the image in the mirror that's important. Look, you stand in front of the mirror, and then you adjust your hair, you adjust your this thing. Basically, you see that you are important. The mirror is not important. The image in the mirror is not important. But somehow what happens in the case of God, the temple, God becomes very important. See, this is where, when the outside temple, God becomes important, that becomes religion. When the inside becomes important, that's what is spirituality. That's what is true bhakti. But then, unfortunately, today what happened? The temple, God becomes important. The outside image became important. So important that becomes like everything. We are prepared to give up life for the sake of that. But then it's also, that means to say, my God has become my own ego. It's again my own ego. Like the picture becomes my own ego. This is what Mullah Nasruddin came home drunk. And when particularly he comes drunk, he quietly slips into the house. But in the process, while coming, he just tripped against stone, fell down, and then he felt hurt. Then he went into the bathroom, he looked into the mirror, then he saw actually blood was coming out. So he immediately took out some plaster, put it on the wound, quietly slipped into the bed. Suddenly he woke up with an earthquake, but it was not earthquake. Wife pulled the covers and then caught hold of his collar, dragged him to the toilet. By that time, all his inebriation fell down, is normal. That who spoiled my mirror? Then he realized that he put the plaster on the mirror actually, not on his wound. So when the outside becomes important, that means you are inebriated. You are intoxicated by this religion. Religion is intoxicant. Religion prepares you to kill. Spirituality doesn't do that. That's what is happening today. You are drunk. You are drunk by the religion. You are drunk by your own God. This is what the lakshanani vachante na matabhedat. There are different ways that these lakshanas are presented here. That's what in the sutra that Narada brings about. In the sutra 15 onwards, he brings about very beautifully this concept. And the first thing, 16th, he says that Puja Dishu Anuraga iti Parasharyaha. Every word is absolutely very important. The Puja Dishu Anuraga iti. In Puja kind of practices, Puja and similar practices, Anuraga iti. He separates the Puja from Anuraga. He says Bhakti is the Anuraga aspect of Puja. It's not the Puja, so many details that are there in the Puja, but all those details are not Bhakti. It is the Anuraga portion. That's what is important. That means to say, are you doing that puja with that love, with that feeling within you, that feeling of oneness with the God? That's what is important. But what happens for us is that that feeling is not important. All the other details becomes important. Sequence, this, that, material. Did you get these flowers? Did you not get these flowers? You keep shouting at the people saying that, what is this? At this puja, and you do not know how to make the things ready. And this is not ready, that is not ready. You know, these are all the things. What basically that all the material details we go into, and then what is the Anuraga aspect? We forget about it. Anuraga is the one which gets into your soul, your consciousness. And details, it's like your body. At the physical level, all these details are there, and we come to the material level, but non-material we give up. Mahabharata, Vyasa puts it very beautifully, and that's what he quotes, Parasharyaha, he says. And then Vyasa himself says, a beautiful sutra that is there in Mahabharata, where he says, Ganga jale kim na vasanti matsyaha devalayam pakshiganam vasanti. Are there not fish living in the Ganga? But what happened to these fish? Fish are born there, they grow up in Ganga, they live in Ganga, they drink Ganga, they are always there, but then fish remain as fish only. Nothing happened to the fish. But look at what happens to human being. He goes all the way to take a dip in Ganga, coming all the way from hot climate, hot country, South India, they go all the way to Gangotri to take a dip in Ganga. Or sometimes in Rishikesh, then the water is almost like 0 degrees. You freeze. And then you go and take a dip there. Particularly somebody in America, just imagine, that is given to all kinds of comfort. He was one of my students, and he was one of the top executives from Ford company, and then he came to our yoga classes, yoga coach and all that. He would not accept anything, a small little discomfort in his path. Absolutely. There's no way that you could convince him. But then he picked up the idea of Bhakti Yoga very well, very nicely. And I did not know that he picked up that idea. Particularly this idea, Ganga Jale Kimna Vasanti Matsya, I said, it just probably worked in him. 2 years later, in January we have a conference in Rishikesh. I went there, Rishikesh. Early morning at 5 o'clock, I was going to Ganga to take bath, and this fellow finished bath and is coming back with wet towel around him. And then he wanted to go to the temple with that wet cloth. I said, wow, I look at you, I freeze. He says, no, Raghuram, everything is wonderful here. What made you like that? What is that which gives you that joy? It's not that cold water that gives you joy, but it is the feeling within you that makes you. Bhavojhitasthai nalabhanti muktaha. If you did not have bhava, it does not give you mukti. It is the bhava which gives you that freedom. When you are at the material level, there is no freedom. When you are consciousness level, that's freedom. The consciousness level freedom is what is called as mukti or moksha. Gangajale kimna vasanti mutsyaha devalayam pakshiganam vasanti. Are there not birds in the temples? They live there, they eat only prasad. But what happened to these birds? Birds remain as birds only. There is no iota of improvement of the birds because they live in the temples. But look at the way people go all the way to the temple. And after going to the temple also, that fellow Nakkam Dukki, he just pushes you, particularly if you go to Tirupati. And that 1 second that you are in front of this God also, that you close your eyes. And then by the time you are already pushed. You did not even see God. But you feel so satisfied. Where did you go this summer from America? Oh, we went to Tirupati. I feel so satisfied. What gives you that satisfaction? Is it that murti? Is it that image? Bhavojhitasthai nalabhanti muktaha devalaya tirthayatanacha muktya. They are not important, but it is the bhava that's important. Bhava belongs to you, and the temple and tirtha and all those things belong to the world outside. Outside is not important. It's the inside that's important. Puja dishu anuragaiti parasharyaha. Parashar Muni, that's what is Vyasa, talks about that. This is what Narada quotes. Kathadishu iti Garga. Garga Rishi, another Rishi, he also. See, Narada's Bhakti Sutras gave these ideas to show that Bhakti has been coming from the parampara from the ancient times. It's not recently created. It was there from ancient times. And this Bhakti, Ramakrishna Paramahansa says beautifully that surrendering can take place in 2 ways. One way that we surrender is surrender out of fear. And second is surrender out of love. When you go to surrender out of fear or out of demand, that means you have a big list of demand to give it to God. That means essentially the God is not important. Your list is important. You are important. God is not important. What you want to get is important. He says, don't go with the list. Don't go with all those things. Even pujaris also. The temple, if you want to find real atheists, they are the pujaris. Because they don't believe in God. For them it is like a dhanda. It is like a business. That's all. Just work. So even they also go to the God only with an idea that this God will give you this God will not give you this. They are very clear about that, pujaris. We had a new car in the house. I give these examples so that we can feel it in the day-to-day life. New car came to our house, and then like beautiful car, nice, wonderful car. So first thing is we drive to any temple. So one direct straight road from our house is the Ganesha temple, supposed to be very famous Ganesha at Bangalore. And Bull Temple Road, it is supposed to be the most famous. So said, okay, let's drive our car to the temple, and we go to the temple. So that's a simple idea. So we went to the temple. After going near the temple, then we realized that day that model car was released. So naturally, there are 40 cars standing there and we were behind it, crowded. Okay, we wanted to go to some temple, then why we have to get stuck in Ganesha? Because Ganesha is in high demand. So let's go to some other temple. So we drove past the whole place and then went on to the top of the hill, and there is Anjaneya temple. And then we went there. Absolutely nobody was there. We parked our car, very nice, a nice wonderful view because of the top of the hill. And then we went to the pujari inside the temple, and then we did the puja. Pujari was also very nice and all those things. And then after doing the puja inside, we asked pujari to come out. He asked what? We said, car and all. Then probably he didn't understand. And then he came with us. When he came out, we showed him the car that you do the puja for that. He had a hearty laugh and he said, Hanuman cannot do anything for the car. You should go to Ganesh. He's also very sure. You go to Ganesha, not Hanuman cannot do anything. Baba, you're supposed to be his pujari. At least canvas for him. Kathadishu Itinga. So basically, all these ideas are essentially to see that out of love you go to it. Just love aspect is the most important part in the whole of puja that we do it. That's why yesterday also I was trying to suggest a gentleman saying that have in your house the puja room, because there you can feel the love. In fact, many times I tell people that don't go to all these big temples where there's such a crowd. Go to the temple in your own street. You sit down there is nobody in your own small little street temple that is there. You can sit down, do the puja. The pujari also will be happy because somebody from our own street is coming. He is very happy. So why don't we do that? Why don't you have a temple at your own home? In fact, the temple at your own home and the deity inside the temple is like the deity in your heart. Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam. That's what is the idea. You need to have that so that you can feel the love. It's so intimate connection between you and the God. Kathadishu iti Gargaha. Gargi says that all these stories, Puranas, all these stories that are there, the most important aspect is the love aspect of it, the feeling aspect of it. Don't look into geography or historical details about it. Whether Rama was living, Krishna was living, Krishna was a real person, was he there in Dwarika? Don't worry about where is Dwarika, how far is it from Vrindavan. Why are you worried about it? Why do you want to get into all those details? In fact, look at the simple people that the moment that these are great people because they rise above the level of geography and historical details. Like Vivekananda himself, such an extraordinary, wonderful person that today he belonged to the whole world. In fact, somebody was saying that Vivekananda's name is a known name in USA also these days. It was like that. Whereas when we started working on the rock memorial, we went to the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and then those days he was saying that, see, Vivekananda is a Bengali, and then you can build something like in Bengal, not in Tamil Nadu. I said, look, Vivekananda is a Vishwamanava, is not just one person at one place. Look at, this is what basically all these people become. Krishna, Rama, you never think that he was somebody from Uttar Pradesh or somebody from Gujarat, he belongs to everywhere. And that's what we have seen. And he belonged to 6,000 years ago. No, even today, that as if Rama is living, Krishna is living. Did we not feel that way? In fact, when Rama and serial was coming on the TV, on the day when Rama Sita marriage was there, many houses that they have printed the wedding card that in our house, in our TV, Rama is wedding Sita. Can you please come to our house? Invitation was given to the people. And they have prepared sweet dish and all those things. In some houses, they put even the whitewash and all those things, prepared the house for wedding. This is how basically today we feel that living. And then Ramanand Sagar was very smart. That week, Rama did not get married. That was the time everybody forgot conveniently, but suddenly that was the time that Parashurama appears onto the scene. So therefore, nothing will go ahead. But then people did not give up. Next week, once again, they prepared sweets, they prepared everything. See, because it was living. Can you feel that? Krishna is also living. Like a friend of mine from Andhra. Andhra people, they are hooked on to Ghantasala so much. And this fellow comes to me very serious. He says, Raghuram, you seem to know a lot of things about the scriptures. Can you tell me once I will feel satisfied that Krishna said Bhagavad Gita like the way Ghantasala sang Bhagavad Gita. He wants to feel that. That feeling is so important. I said, yeah. It is. Ghansala exactly knew how Krishna said. That's how he said it. Have to convince him. Feeling is much more important. Kathadishu iti gargaha. All these stories that you can see, don't take Rama and Krishna as gods. In fact, the moment you put them as gods, you miss the message. Take them as ordinary human beings. You can see the wonderful message of love in their life. Message of love, that's important. Like, the story goes like this, that Rama went to the forest. And when he went to the forest, father died. And they immediately summoned Bharata to come. Bharata comes back and sees father dead. Naturally, he has to do the whole ceremonies. After that, all these people were sitting after the 11 days, 14 days are over. They were sitting for a meeting, and then Bharata comes there and says, oh, what are you doing? Vasishtha was there and others were there and all that. Yeah, we were fixing the date of, the date of coronation. For who? For you. What? For me. What about king? No, you are the king. Because the king, Dasharatha died. When Dasharatha died, then Rama is the obvious king. But then Rama has gone to the forest. Even if he's in the forest, that he is king. Anyway, whatever you want to do it, you do it. But I am going right away to the forest. Go to Rama. I request him to come. Wow, that's the right thing to do. But then if Rama doesn't want to come, then I'm going to be with him. I'm not going to leave him. Once I left, what a big damage that is done. Now, I'm never going to leave him. Bharata's determination. Then immediately Vasishtha says, I will come with you. Let me also try to convince. Then mother say, we will also go with you. Then brothers, so everybody. Sumant is always there. Everybody goes there. And there, just to show that Rama is just an ordinary, simple human being, that Lakshmana looks at the whole thing and says that army is coming. Rama, the brothers, Bharata doesn't want to leave us peacefully in forest. He's coming with his army to fight with us. Be prepared. See, you always talk about fight. You're cool. No? Let's see what happens. Rama there is very cautious. He doesn't say, oh, Bharata is my own brother. He said, let's try to talk to them, convince them, whatever it is. And then when they come, then Rama is shocked. Then Dasharatha died and all those things. And then after initial ablutions and all that, they sat down. And then Vasishtha says, Bharata has come here to present his ideas, Rama, in front of everybody. And what is it? Bharata says that Rama, you should come back, because Dasharatha is not there. You are the king. You should come back. If you do not want to come back, then Bharata is going to be here. He is not going to come to Ayodhya. Rama says that, look, I have given word to father that I go to the 14 years to. So I have come. So I will not come back. Then mother immediately, Kaikeyi jumps in with tears. She says that, look, everything happened because of me. So I totally surrender myself. Just give up everything. Rama, my request, please come back. Rama says, mother, it's not between you and me. It's between me and my father. That's what is my dharma. I will not come back. Vasishtha says, wars will be fought for the sake of kingdom. But here, brothers are fighting to give up the kingdom. I can give a law if you wanted kingdom. Give up kingdom, there are no laws. I am at loss. I don't know what to do. Only God has a solution. God may have to give some solution. When he said that, immediately the security, the fellow who was there, who announces that Janaka is coming. Wow. Janaka is also a Brahmajnani, is also a king. So we pose this problem to him. Let's see what he does. So Janaka comes and then they present the whole thing, initial all this. Afterwards, Janaka is sitting there. This is this situation. Rama doesn't want to come back because that's what is dharma. Bharata doesn't want to go back without Rama. His love for brother. Janaka says, I will present this problem in front of Devadeva, Mahadeva, and then I will give solution tomorrow morning. Let's retire. And at night, Sulakshana Devi, Janaka's wife, comes to Janaka and asks, so tomorrow which side are you going to give this to? Yeah, he says, I don't have a solution. You see, look at he doesn't even play that ego there. I don't have a solution. I only wait. If God gives me a solution, I will pass it on. She says, you men are always like this. I don't want to see the tears in that lady. And who is that lady? It's not Sita. She is Sita's mother. She says, I don't want to see any more tears in Kausalya. She's an extraordinary one. See, the whole situation shows everywhere that soft but pure feeling of love. Anyway, next day they sit together and then Janaka says, I presented this idea to gods and Rama. Your adherence to dharma is extraordinary. In fact, this goes back to the days when Rama's qualities were defined by Valmiki. It gives, Satyavak Paripalana. Satya, telling the truth is one level. I tell the truth, whatever that happened. But the next level is Satyavak Paripalana. That means to say, I tell something truth and I hold on to it. This is what is Harishchandra. Extraordinary. Come what may. In fact, Nakshatraka says to Harishchandra, just one word you say that you have not given any promise to Vishwamitra. I will go back. It's enough for me. I have enough troubles now. I will go back and tell that, look, Vishwamitra, I tell Vishwamitra that you told that you have not given a word. No, please don't say that. I have given a word. Come what may, I have to follow that. That's what is Harishchandra. That is Satyavak Paripalana. But Rama's case is one step ahead. Pitru Satyam Anupalaya. That means it is somebody's word and you have to maintain that. That's why it's extraordinary. That's why Janaka says, Rama, the gods have all praise for your dharma, dharmanishta. Your dharmatma. Everybody felt dull because Rama is greater. Then she turns to Bharata. Says, Bharata, your love for your brother is extraordinary. And then says, no dharma in front of love. Dharma transcends, love transcends all dharma. So therefore you won it. You won it. But there's one condition. And what is that? In love you give. You don't take it. You don't ask. So give. Then immediately Bharata says, I give the kingdom to Rama. Because that's what he came for. Wait a minute. What does not belong to you cannot give. Just I like you so I give everything. It doesn't even belong to me. How can I give? Ask Rama what he wants. See, look at the beauty of it. Ask Rama what he wants. That you give. Bharata goes there and says that, yes, wow, Rama, I was arrogant of my love. See that my love itself has become my ego. Now it is opened. So what can I give you? Rama says to Bharata, because Rama is also a smart guy. So he says, I know he knows now what is the heart of Bharata. He says, Bharata, give me that kingdom. Give me that kingdom. And in love, we become one. So, kingdom belongs to us. The promise given to Father belongs to us. So, let me take care of that promise. Let me go to the forest for 14 years. And on my behalf, my kingdom, you will be there. That's why it is essentially, Bharata was not the king. It was Rama Rajya. Subtlety. And this is what is the power of love. See, all these stories, when you look at it, it is the Kathadishu iti Garga. The Garga says that all these stories, the love aspect of it, it is soft, gentle aspect of it. That's what is important. And Narada goes one step ahead. Pujadishu anuraga iti parasharyaha. Kathadishu iti gargaha. Puja means only in this way or that way. But Kathadishu means when you look at all these stories, not only these stories, I can give you the stories of Jesus Christ, such wonderful stories. And what is more important thing is the love. And in case of love, you have to bring it at the human level. That's why it is said that don't keep the God in the heaven. Bring the God to the human level so that you can see the God in human being. If you cannot bring the God to the human level, how can you see the God in the human being? Who is around you? Bring God to the human level. There, Bharata, Rama is human level. He is not God. The same way that even Jesus Christ, it so happened that when Jesus Christ was being taken on the hill and he was asked to take the cross, person who has never done any, not even injured an ant, and he was being charged and he was being taken away. All these disciples were there. James was there, Luke was there, and all these people, they were there. They were all waiting that he is Son of God. Nothing will happen to him. Now he will show his miracle. Now he will come out. A poor fellow is struggling to carry that weight, and it was hot sun and up the hill. And then they, when it's difficult to take, he is moving it difficult. They used to beat him with the hunters, and all that every hunter stroke was so. He could see the pain in the eyes of Jesus Christ, but these people were still seeing God in him. And saying, oh, he's Son of God. No, nothing will happen. One person who saw the whole thing was Magdalene. She did not know about all these things happening. She was so far away. She came running, and then by the time she came, he almost fell unconscious. And then she immediately picked him up and she made him to stand. She was crying. And then they fixed him on the cross. She lifted him down, brought him down, took his head in her lap. For her, Jesus Christ was not Son of God. She was a human being. At human level, that you can feel the compassion, you feel the pain, you feel the love. That's what she did. And then she fanned him. And the miracle happened. That Jesus died like an ordinary human being. Then she took his body and she buried it and all that. Such a sad story. They were still thinking that he is Son of God. See, this is what is most important. Then next 3 days later, when he came out on that Friday evening, it is Magdalene who received him and then made him to sit down, gave him food. For her, it is not any, the ghost that has come. Whereas for them, the others, that they were looking at ghost. But she was not looking at him as ghost. She never looked him as God. She never looked him as ghost. For her, Jesus Christ is somebody close to her heart. Can you bring the God to the human level? And that's what we have. Like for example, Ganesh Puja time, you see what happens? Ganesha is not like God anymore. Particularly you go to Maharashtra, Bombay, you see that, it's like your own big, good, close brother, your buddy, your friend. You can put your hand on his shoulder and say, hey, come on, let's go to the Shah Rukh Khan movie. You can tell him all those things. That freedom you should have. That's what is love. Kathadishi Vidarka. Narada says, Naradastu tadarpita kilacharata tadvismarane parama vyakulate. Narada says, every activity that you do it out of love. Akhilacharata, also everything that you do, it's after all you are doing for the God. What else is creation? The creation itself is nothing but God. Where else can you see God other than in His own creation? It's like the way that a nice, wonderful musician is there. I go to him and say that, look, you are a wonderful, great musician, but your songs are horrible. Man, what is the question of wonderful musician? See, you could see him singing, that is a wonderful musician. You say, God, you are great and your creation is horrible. That means in what way are you looking at it? Can you look at all these things as divinity? Every aspect that you handle in this world, you are handling God. And that is a feeling that's there within you. In fact, those days, 20, 30 years ago, when first I went to Bangalore, those days, Bangalore, Ramakrishna Ashram, early days, only Swamijis were there, it was Mutt. So Mutt used to have all Swamijis. They were taking care of everything. And those days, one of the very highly respected Swamiji, Swami Tadrupananda and Prabhupada, these people, they were there. They were only there at the shoe rack. And I remember one day that I went to the shoe rack, people were just putting the shoe, and then the Swamiji would pick up the shoe, clean it neatly, put it in the rack. I felt a little odd. I said, let me clean my shoe, put it in the rack. So I said, no, let me do it. It's my privilege. You cannot steal away my job. I said, why? I said, look, you came all the way here to see Thakur. You're a Thakur's Bhakta. So you are for me Thakur. So say, doing service to you, doing service to Thakur. I mean, that taught me a lesson that can I do every activity, anything that I pick up, it is nothing but God's activity. This is what Narada says. Then when are you doing bhakti? When are you not doing bhakti? You see, bhakti is a 24-hour sadhana. Even a small little thing that I handle it with that love, the passion. This is what basically Rabindranath Tagore said, that if you handle a paper out of love, the paper has life in it. It's not that whether God has given life in something or the other. God has given the material, but your love can fill in the life in the object outside. And he gives a beautiful poem for that. Actually, it comes in sadhana in one of the works of Rabindranath Tagore. He says that, look at the simple thing, that your lover writes few letters on a piece of paper, and then that paper becomes lively for you. It's living for you. So what brought that life to the paper? It's your love that has brought paper to the life. Can you handle it so that everything in this world is lively, is living? It's up to you who can create that. The moment you take it as matter, it does not have life. The moment you take it as life, then it is divinity. Nastyeva tasmin tatsukha sukitvam. If you do not see the life in that, it will fall down. In fact, that's what he says. If you do not do any activity, this is, Narada becomes very critical about that. If you do not do any activity with the sense of love, jaranamiva, if you do not have that, it's like the way that it's like a prostitution. Jaranam. What is that? For a prostitute, body is important. Soul is not important. Sariputra, when he was young, he came out of ashram and then he was going to a village. In that village there was a prostitute, the most beautiful, and this is a story again Rabindranath Tagore's. And then she says, please come to my house. Sariputra was a royal family, looking very beautiful and very robust, young fellow, within his 20s, as a disciple of Buddha. And then prostitute says, why don't you come to my place? And then Sariputra says, look, I'm a bhikshu and I cannot deny anybody's invitation. I must accept your invitation. I cannot deny it. Definitely I will honor your invitation and I come to you when you are right. When it is the right time. Then this lady says that today it is the right time because I am young and look at the way that the people are lined up in front of my house. They want to have my interview and then they want to enjoy me, and that is what they are. And now this is the right time. Sariputra says, no. This is what is just only temporary that is there. But when the right time comes, I come. And then 20 years later, when that same village people threw her out, and then she was sitting under a tree. At that time Sariputra comes and gives his lap to her head, takes her head in his lap, says, that day it was the body that was important. Now I see the soul shining. Can we see the soul? If you do not see the soul, that means you are prostitution. If I do not see the love in any object and handling any object, that means I am doing like a prostitute. Jararaviva. And this is what he says, the beautiful idea. Next, he comes to the next sutra, Yatha Vrajagopika. This Vrajagopikas, what is that they have seen in Krishna? They have seen the consciousness in Krishna. And Krishna also has not seen in the Gopikas, it is not the body, it is the consciousness that's important. The highest of that particular ideal that we have is the story of Radha. In fact, if you look at Bhagavatam, there is just only 1/2 chapter. And that's what is the Rasa Krida that he gives. After the Rasa Krida chapter in Bhagavatam, and that few lines did not even take the name of Radha. Only it takes saying that there is an extraordinary, wonderful Gopika girl, she was there, and she was with Krishna. But then she did not stay with Krishna. Afterwards, Krishna goes away. That is the end of that chapter. Afterwards, now the Krishna's whole image is different. But later on, people have given the name for that particular Gopika as Radha. In fact, in Bhagavatam it is not there, but then probably we can assume that it was there. But then it is very important that Radha name itself is very important. But before I go into that name, what really happened, later on that particular portion is expanded by K.M. Munshi. In Krishna Avatara, he brings about that. Of course, some aspect of it is brought by Shakuntala Devi. She has written also Bhagavatam and all that. But then Krishna Avatara brings it much more beautifully. And then let me share that aspect of it. And that shows what is called as why this Jaranam Iva. That means to say, what is called as degeneration at the Kama. That's what is the idea of Kama. And then what is called as taking Bhakti to the level of Bhakti. That's what is the big difference that is there. It so happened that those days people used to walk from place to place when they are going to the pilgrimage through the forest. Until recently also, when we had to go to Prashanti, we had to go through the forest when we were first started going. But now of course roads are there. So those days, and in the forest there are always wildlife, and then there is always dacoits and all that fear. So the people used to go in a group, caravan. And then they used to go at a particular pace, so that they go to next village. For the night stay in the village, and then daytime they would walk through the forest. So this is what used to happen. And then there is always a head for that whole group. And he would describe about various things on the way. The next village, what is the temple, and what is the story of the temple, and all that they used to introduce. And so the journey used to go on. So this group is moving, and then suddenly where they are about to enter into the next village, and that's the moment where the leader of that group, he says, oh, next village that we are going to go is a very important village. Pay attention. Everybody paid attention. I said, this is the place where the place is called as Gokul. Immediately the moment that he said Gokul, at once there were some sounds that were going on. Wow, we are going to Gokul? Wonderful. Wow. Somebody asked, what is this Gokul about? Yeah, I also heard about it, but what is it about? Oh, this is a place, an extraordinary place. Why? Oh, there is a wonder boy here. Wow. Who is that wonder boy? Krishna, have you not heard? So immediately somebody talking about saying that, what is that he has done? Oh my God, he's extraordinary. When he was a small little kid, he was a baby, and then some demon came to give him breastfeed, and then he killed that demon. And this done, he did this, he did that. Oh, like that, story after story after story. And then people, as they hear, the enthusiasm rose up, and then they said, wow, so can we see him? Somebody says, wow, what is that? You see him? You will not miss it, because he's everywhere. Where can we find? Are you in the village? He's in the center. He's always playing. How can you recognizing? He's always surrounded by people, and they're all dancing. He's in the center and all that. But how does he look like? Yellow robes, and then he has a flute in his hand. Ah, the most beautiful person he is. Once you see him, you don't feel like moving from this place. So can we spend some time with him? So like that they were talking. As they were talking and walking, suddenly one of them says, hey, look at that fellow sitting there. Is he Krishna? Just now, till now we heard he's always laughing, he's always jumping with joy, there is dance going on everywhere, and so many things about that, and suddenly here, somebody sitting seriously there. Yeah, yellow robes and all those things, and then he has peacock feather. Maybe Krishna, but then he's sitting all alone, serious. May not be Krishna. Somebody else maybe. No, maybe he is Krishna only. Today, something must have happened. Then, as they went near, then they were convinced that it was Krishna. Said, hey Krishna. Some elderly person asked, hey Krishna, what are you doing here? Hey Krishna. They said, yeah. Oh, they are convinced that he is Krishna. So what are you doing here? I am enjoying nature. Children seriously sitting there like that. I am enjoying nature. Hey, it seems that you are upset. Who said I am upset? Right. When your tone shows that you are upset, I am not upset. Why are you sitting all alone? Yeah, I am alone. Baapre. Would you like to come with us? No. He's really upset. Anyway, we have seen him. So, let's not worry about him. So they went ahead. But then this girl, Radha, stayed back. And then she said, Krishna, my name is Radha. She's about 3 years older than him. So my name is Radha. Nice to meet you. Serious. Something must be really bothering you. Otherwise you won't be like this. Whatever that I heard, you're a joyful fellow. You are always full of life and all that. Today you're sitting seriously means something really happened. I'm your best friend. Can you not tell me? If you tell me, you feel lightened. You feel good. Children are like that. 8-year-old kid. When you talk to such persons out of love, they burst out. And then Krishna also said they burst out. Tears came down and he said, look, this is what happened. What happened? You see, I never did anything wrong. Yeah, you are a nice person. You never do anything wrong. Particularly today, I did not do anything wrong. That means other days I do. I did not. Yeah, you did not do anything wrong. But then what happened? My mom is so mad at me. But then what did you do? Why should your mom be mad at you? What did you do? See, look at that. This fellow, next door fellow. He came to me. Hari, he came to me. Said, yeah. I said, he is hungry. But what can I do? Yeah. What did you do? There's nothing in the house. So I said, look, I've seen the next door house, neighbor. So she was doing some milk and all that. She has all that. So I said that she has all that. And he said, but then how to get it? So I went with him. Because he wanted it, I went there. And then I showed that this is the place where it is and all that. He didn't know how to reach it. See, he doesn't have... So I gave him a plan. Come on, you bend down, I go up and then I get the whole thing. So I brought it. Meanwhile, a couple of others also came. Our friends came. After all, Hari alone does not come. So many else. So everybody is hungry. After all, children, they have to eat. Yeah, right. So they all ate. In fact, I never ate. It's all they who ate all that butter. And then they put a little in my mouth and then I ate also. Like that, slowly. And then meanwhile, this lady came. And then, these ladies, they always go to my mom and talk about me. And the only thing they talk about me is by complaining. That's all. They also like me, but then they complain. This is what they did. And then they said, look, your son has come and did all this and all those things. I was not really there. It was only that fellow, Hari, who did it. Yeah. And then and my mother believed all those things, whatever she says. My mother believes everything, anybody says. And then she became mad at me. And what did she do? Did she beat you? Did she spank you? No, that my mother cannot do it. But then what did she do? After all, she said, look, you go to every house, you create a problem. You're a useless fellow. So why don't you just don't go out anywhere? So I tie you down to the stone and then you stay at home. She tied me down to the stone in the house. And she said, you stay here. And then she went away. My God, young fellow like you should be going outside, playing and all those things. And how can you be tied down in the house in the evening? So then what did you do? Did you stay at home? No. But then what did you do? I dragged the whole stone and I'm sitting here. then she looked at the huge stone. 10 people cannot move it and this fellow brought it. Wow. I mean, I can't believe you brought all this. Yeah. Must be really bruised all over. Tired. Yeah. Can I release you? No. Why? You can go out and play. No, don't release me. Why? Let my mother search for me all over, become panic, and then come and fall at my feet and let her release. Then only she can take me. But then you are tired, you are bruised all over. Then he smiled. Says, you talk to me nice. No, I forgot everything. Now it became Narada. Are you sure? Because I have to go now. The others are all going, then I have to join them. Yeah. And I'm truly, I really love you. He also, I love you, Radha. Okay, I'm going. This was the first meeting. And it's such a sweet meeting that they could never forget each other. And they were like that. Years rolled. And then after about 4 or 5 years, then the whole of Gokul was infested by wildlife. The forests have grown and all that. And then they said, why do we unnecessarily disturb the wildlife? Let us move to another city where people are already there, so we can establish there. So several places they invited, but then they selected Vrindavan and then Krishna. The whole of people from Gokul, they moved to Vrindavan. And Krishna also moved there. Actually, this is very important. That whole journey that K. Munshi beautifully describes about it. But once they went to Vrindavan, the children leader was Krishna, and there Vrindavan, children's leader was Radha. So naturally they met, and then Radha took Krishna everywhere. And these villages, every stone has a story. On a festival day, this happened like that. Last Jatara, this happened like that. And the river, and the story about cows, and this and that. So it was about 6-7 months they were together talking about each other and all those things. They fell in love. They said, okay, we want to get married. They decided that they will get married, and Krishna wanted to inform the parents about this. As he was going, somebody on the way, he said, "Hey Krishna, where were you?" He said, "Why? What happened?" I mean, Dad was searching for you. Why? I don't know. They know everything, but still they say, I don't know. Some guests have come. Where have they come from? Who knows? Only that I heard that they came from Mathura. Mathura is the place of King Kamsa. Why? See, Baba, I don't know anything. Why don't you go to your dad? Because anyway he was searching for you. Anyway, I'm going there. So he goes there and he sees Akrura sitting there, and Akrura said, he was also sitting. Both of them, they are there. And then Akrura came. Dad introduced him. Akrura, this is Krishna. And Akrura at once falls at the feet of Krishna. And then said, what is that? Akrura brought invitation from Kamsa to Krishna. So that Kamsa is doing some Rajasuya Yajna. And for that Krishna is invited. And Krishna and his brother, both of them are supposed to go there. Okay. What else? Then Krishna became suspicious, saying that only two of us? I mean, what about invitation to you and others? No, nobody else is invited, only we are invited. Arey, he's a king, emperor, Kamsa, inviting some big people, not me. Why? There must be some plan. And immediately Akrura says, I suspect there's some foul play. What is that? Kamsa suspects that Krishna is the eighth son of Devaki. He is born to kill Kamsa. So he wants to invite Krishna to eliminate him. So this is because everywhere that wherever he has suspicion, he eliminated all those children. And now it is Krishna he was suspicious about. That if I do not go there, what he will do? Akrura says Kamsa is going to come with the whole army and kill all the children in this place. Krishna says, I think, Kamsa's days are numbered. I will go finish Kamsa. It was decided. Half fear and half acceptance and all those things. But anyway, it was prepared. Next day, he will go with Akrura. Meanwhile, Krishna comes running to inform this to Radha. The rumor spread everywhere. Radha also got the rumor. And then Krishna goes there. Radha is sitting there and asks, Radha, do you know that? Did you hear the news? Radha said, yeah, I heard the news. I thought you will not come back to me. So you are a great fellow. How can I expect that he will come back? I thought you have already forgotten about me. What have you heard? I mean, you see, everybody knows. Kamsa sent special emissary, sent an invitation to you, and then you are a special guest in that particular function. My dad is not invited, your dad is not invited, but you are invited. You are a great fellow, you are a VVIP. Krishna says, no, that's not the story. But then what? She thought there is some big function and Krishna has gone there. Krishna is invited there. No, you know that Kamsa carries a curse on his head. That his sister Devaki's eighth son is going to kill him. Yeah, that was there. And then that eighth son is missing. Yeah. And Kamsa has not found, and because of that he killed several hundreds of children. Wow, yeah. And then Kamsa suspects, I'm the eighth son of Devaki. Look at the opening released, and now looking at the face of Radha, Krishna thinks that Radha is worried what will happen to Krishna. Because Kamsa is inviting Krishna to kill Krishna. So that's what. But Radha's mind is going on. Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is a God incarnate. Extraordinary. You see, Krishna's level goes up in her mind. But Krishna thinks the other way around, thinks that, no, Radha, don't you worry about it. I'm going to definitely kill Kamsa. Days are numbered. I'm born to kill Kamsa. Finish. Once I kill Kamsa, I have to set right few things and all that. It takes about 3, 4, 5 months. And once that is done, I will come back. and then we will announce our marriage. This is where beauty of Radha's love. If it were to be Kama, Radha would have said, no, before you go, let us get married. I will go with you. Or if you become king, I will become queen. If you are a great person, I will also become great. You see, because love, lust, Kama, possess, whereas she doesn't want to possess it. She lets it go. She says, no, Krishna, you go ahead. I don't want to be coming in your way. Go ahead. And my Krishna is a simple Krishna, It's hardly a simple Krishna. My love, Krishna, is not God. It's an ordinary, simple human being. And my cows, under my cows I can see my Krishna. In the river Yamuna I can see Krishna. When the trees talk to me about Krishna, I stay back. You go ahead. This is what. Love can wait. That's what Radha says. I can wait for you life after life. I don't have to go with you. Love never possesses. There is no ego in the love. When the ego is not there, possession does not come. Love transcends into bhakti. This is how Radha gives us the idea of bhakti in that such a way that Krishna says, I don't think I understand you, Radha, but I see that you are so great, so extraordinary. And then, going. And then he takes out the flute, gives it to Krishna, Radha. He says, keep this flute with you as my memory. Afterwards, you never find Krishna with flute. The beauty, what is that flute signifies is, that flute itself is something which is made out of wood, and out of that wood also the cheapest of the wood is bamboo. And a small piece of bamboo with holes on that bamboo, it is the most cheapest of the material. And in that material you throw the exhale air, the air also you don't require anymore, and then you throw that air, and the melody that you get is extraordinary. That means if you look at the matter, it is nothing. But if you look at the melody, that's what is the bhakti. When you look at the matter, it is kama. When you look at that melody, it is bhakti. This is what Narada gives an idea. When you come to the body level, when you look at handling any material as material, jarana. If you do not do that, that's what is Radha. Dhara is a flow downwards. When you reverse it, Radha is a flow upwards. That's how she is called as Radha. That's extraordinary thing. This is the bhakti sadhana. Start with the simple level of temple, but then feel in your heart the presence of divinity. Slowly try to translate in the world outside. Bring it to the world outside, so that any material, anything that you handle, anybody that you talk to, can you feel the divinity? Then you can really say from your heart, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. It's not that to convince somebody that you are talking about it, you feel inside. That's what is the bhakti sadhana. So, Tallakshanani gayante acharyaha. The various acharyas, they sang about this bhakti. These are all the techniques that are there. Stop it here. Last lecture tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So tomorrow I'll take up questions.